So today I wanted to talk about The Mirror of Beasts by Alexandra Bracken. Now, if you don't know me, Alexandra Bracken is my favorite author. I absolutely love everything that she writes. I would literally read her grocery list. So this is the sequel to Silver and the Bone. If you haven't read Silver and the Bone, that is an Arthurian legend retelling. It's a contemporary fantasy. And basically, it follows this um, girl Tamsin and her brother Cabell, and they are uh, like treasure hunters, and they work for this guild of treasure hunters um, uh, that basically they've been abandoned by their like adoptive father. So they're kind of on their own. I shouldn't say they're kind of on their own. They are on their own, and um, as treasure hunters, that's kind of the only way they've been able to make money. Although Tamsin also works as um, like a tarot reader to also make money. And so they are trying to find specific like treasures for sorceresses. That's the way that they make money. Um, and they are trying to find a specific treasure called the Ring of Dispel, which is supposed to be able to break curses. Because Tamsin's brother Cabell has this unfortunate curse of turning into like a wolf beast thing, and he can't control it. And when he turns into that like wolf beast thing, he like hurts everyone, including Tamsin. So Tamsin is trying to get this ring of dispel because it is rumored to be able to break any sort of curse. Um, and so with this ring of dispel, it is rumored to be in Avalon. So that is how the story starts. Um, Now, obviously, this is the sequel, so I'm not going to go into like too much about this because if you haven't read the first one, I don't want to spoil anything for you. But there is another character named Emrys, who is also trying to find the Ring of Dispel. He is hired by the same sorceress to find it. So he is like kind of the nemesis, um, sort of Tamsin. He's kind of the rival, but there's also kind of this romance between them. Like you can kind of tell that there's something going on. It's that kind of fun enemies to lovers thing going on. There's a lot of tropes going on between them. If you follow Alexandra Bracken, you will on Instagram, you will see that she makes many videos talking about the multiple tropes between Emrys and Tamsin. I love Emrys; he is my baby. And so yeah, there's a lot of tropes between them, but enemies to lovers, I think, is like a really basic way of describing them. And so they go to Avalon to try and find the Ring of Dispel. So the Mirror of Beasts, though, is a sequel, and I absolutely loved this one. I loved it even more than the first book. It was so good, I literally could not put it down. I spent my entire day off that I read it, just reading this whole book. Like I could not stop reading it. It was just incredible. Um, Literally, like so good. Just like really a fun fantasy book. When I like messaged Alexandra Bracken about it, she was like, "I'm so glad that you loved it." It was one of my favorite books to write, and it was really obvious that it was one of her favorite books to write because it was just so well written. It's just a fun like fantasy book, contemporary fantasy book. I love me a good low fantasy, contemporary fantasy, because I'm not much of a high fantasy person. It's really hard for me to even get into fantasy. So this is like the perfect kind of fantasy book for me. The romance was chef's kiss. Absolutely loved it. The characters are incredible. As you might know, characters are what drives me in a book. If the characters are great, but the story is just I will probably like it. But if the story is great, but the characters are just so, I'm probably not going to be invested. Thankfully, the characters and the story are both great in this, but the characters are especially fantastic. Um, and so I just absolutely love this. Highly recommend this duology. It is super fun, especially if you love Arthurian legend. It is really fun to just read this. So highly recommend this. Highly recommend anything by Alexandra Bracken, honestly. The Darkest Minds is my favorite series of hers, but really, like anything by her is just great. So yes, uh, The Sword in the Bone, or sorry, Silver in the Bone, and then Mirror of Beast. Really, really loved it. Gave this one 5 stars. So yeah,